me about social and emotional learning is we spend a vast majority of time teaching some of those things that we talked about before, algebra, fractions, whatever it is with children, but we don't spend a whole lot of time teaching the thing that we're going to be doing 90% of our life. Most of the time, as an adult, you sit in a room with somebody at your job and you have to get along with them that you may not like. And that's just how life is, but we don't always spend a lot of time working with children on those things. What is social and emotional development? I put the Georgia Pre-K content standards out to the side in case that applies to some of you. Getting along with others. Learning to solve conflict, which we've heard a lot about this morning. And we know when we have children in classrooms, we have conflict. When we have adults, we have conflict. Years ago, when I got into preschool education and was hired, I called my boss after I had been working a couple of weeks and I said, I knew when I took this job I would be working with 4-year-olds. I just didn't realize that would be the teachers. Because we all know and are in situations, it's not just children that we have problems with. This last week, I suspended a child from school for 2 days for punching his teacher in the stomach. His mother called me. She doesn't know where he got this behavior from. They never know where they got the behavior from. So she tells me that she doesn't know that she doesn't know where he got this from. Well, by the end of our conversation, when I've told her that he is suspended, he is going to have to stay home, she cusses me out and hangs up on me. And I think, now I know why Dylan is struggling a little with some social and emotional skills. Because you have and threatened to pull him out of school. How many of y'all dealt with that too? She's going to pull him out of school. She can't find anybody to keep him for 2 days, but she's going to pull him out of school permanently. Again, it's just that anger thing, and it's not having the skills to effectively deal with the conflict that they're having to deal with. Expressing emotions appropriately. We often have young children who are learning to define what some of those emotions are. Being angry, a lot of them will describe anger when it may be a lot of other things. It may be frustration. And as children get older, they begin to define those things differently. And they begin to understand that there's more than just being unhappy. There's some other emotions tied up in that. Following rules. We need children in classrooms to learn to follow rules, don't we? Because without rules, what do you have? Chaos. And so no matter what, you're going to have some rules in your classroom that you need them to follow. They need to be able to successfully manage transitions. I'm just guessing here, and I don't know our little friend Cam from our first segment, but my guess is Cam doesn't transition well. And you all have those children in your classrooms that they're fine, they're engaged, but here we go. We're getting ready to line up to go to lunch, line up to go outside, and you know it's going to be a problem. And we've already talked about some ways with Pam to minimize that by making those transitions quick. I sometimes go into classrooms and teachers will tell me, I had a teacher tell me, she's like, look, they are standing over there and they are hitting each other with their coats. This is what I deal with every day. And I looked at my watch, I said, they've been standing in line for 22 minutes. I start to hit my friends after 22 minutes. We have waited for you to tie shoes. We have waited for you to wash hands. We have waited for you to reposition the children in height from tallest to shortest or shortest to tallest. We've waited for all of these things, and yes, now they're going to start hitting each other with their coats because we're all bored and tired of this. So you've heard some of the ways that you can manage those things, and sometimes we don't always think of things like managing transitions as being part of social and emotional development. And then showing empathy for others. This is something that very clearly children develop over time. And it's very difficult for them. I often hear teachers say things like, well, how do you think that makes them feel? And I know that the children are thinking, I don't care. They're not thinking, I don't have any idea, or I can't, but they're thinking, I don't care. Because that's the way that young children are. Back to the applause we gave to the 2-year-old teacher, particularly 2-year-olds. You know, they could care less what everybody else is thinking and really can't even get themselves into a mindset where they can understand. They don't even understand that others have feelings at that time.